Assam is a place where more than 40 languages are spoken across countless communities and groups. Yet only a few voices are powerful enough to bind these diverse communities and ethnic groups together. One of those rare voices was Zubeen Garg. From the heart of his village to the global stage, he united a diverse state like Assam through his words and his music. He was not just an artist or a celebrity, he was a movement, the voice of the people's hearts. Beyond legendary songs like Ya Ali and Dil Tu Hi Bata, he stood up during difficult times, helping his people through crises like the floods in Goa and Assam. Even with success in Bollywood, he never let his roots or his culture grow distant from him. His outspoken nature, his willingness to call out what was wrong, these were just some of the countless reasons people admired him so deeply and felt such a strong emotional connection to him. That's why when the news of his death arrived from Singapore on the night of September 9th, it felt impossible to believe. Grief and disbelief quickly gave way to outrage as details emerged about what might have caused his death. Many began to believe negligence by his management team led to the tragedy. What exactly happened that day in September that cost Zubeen his life? Why did his wife file a case against his closest friend and manager? Why is the government seen as trying to stop peaceful protests held in his name? Was this seemingly straightforward death hiding darker secrets? Zubeen Garg was born in Tura, Meghalaya in November into a respected and talented family. His father, Mohini Mohan Borthakur, served in the civil services and also wrote song lyrics and poetry in his spare time. His mother, Eli Borthakur, was a singer. Creativity ran through the family. His sisters were involved in singing and acting. From a very young age, he absorbed artistry from home. He began singing at the age of 3, taught first by his mother. Though born in Meghalaya, he grew up in Assam due to his father's postings, creating a deep and personal bond with Assam from childhood. Because of frequent transfers, he often had to switch schools and cities. That made it hard to form permanent friendships. But music became his anchor and his identity. Wherever he went, people remembered him. He never let studies overshadow his passion. In school, he didn't fit the typical mold, especially in a country where unconventional careers were, and often still are, looked down upon. But his family supported him completely. By high school, he could play multiple instruments. He mostly sang Assamese songs, blending folk with modern sounds, like Who Killed Zubeen Garg, removed hip-hop and R&B. That fusion connected with both the older and younger generations. His songs were tuneful, but they also carried powerful messages. Depth, protest, and social commentary lay beneath the melodies. After finishing school and joining a BSc program in college, he made a life-changing decision. He dropped out and shifted his focus entirely to music. It was a bold and risky move, but with his talent and vision, it was the right one. He started preparing for competitions and performing at festivals. His professional career took off when, in 1992, he won a gold medal for a solo performance at a youth festival. That same year, he released his debut album, Anamika, featuring songs he had written as early as age 13. Throughout the 1990s, he released multiple successful albums, all of which became hits. His rising popularity made it inevitable that he would move to a bigger stage. In 1995, he shifted from Assam to Mumbai and began working in Bollywood, one of the first Assamese artists to bring his culture to such a massive platform. Despite Bollywood's infamous politics and darkness, he didn't forget his roots. He released his first Hindi albums there, which were again very successful. His voice and music transcended language barriers. Life was going well. In 2002, he married Garima Saikia. Their love story was unusual and heartfelt. He had many admirers from his school days onward, and as his fame grew, he received countless letters from fans, especially women. Garima was then studying in Mumbai, far from home, and in difficult times, she found comfort and hope in his songs. Without ever having met him, she fell in love. She wrote him a letter pouring out her feelings. By chance and good fortune, he read it. That's where their love story began. They started exchanging letters, and their bond deepened. But when Garima's father learned about the relationship, he initially refused. Zubeen came from a Brahmin family, while Garima did not. He himself did not care for caste or religious divisions, and saw himself as a spiritual person. Around the same time, tragedy struck when his sister Janki died in a car accident. His life fell into a dark phase. Love seemed to be slipping away, and he lost his sister. He struggled to work and to live in peace. He released an Assamese album, Sishu, in her memory. Slowly, he found his footing again. Eventually, against the odds, he married Garima, and that decision brought lights back into his life. She stood by him through every milestone and failure. With his life and career back on track and having established his standing in Bollywood, he turned more toward films. He began acting with the film Tumimur Matumur and worked on award-winning Assamese movies that proved regional cinema can represent the nation's soul. Beyond Assamese and Hindi, he composed for band and regional songs, becoming a truly multicultural celebrity. Over the years, he did many films, concerts, and represented India on global stages. People admired him even more, not just for his art, but for his character. He raised his voice at the right times, during floods, during political storms, for his audience and his people. By 2025, even in his 50s, he still carried the same youthfulness and swag that people had fallen in love with years ago. He had won countless awards and written his name into the history books, yet he had left Mumbai years earlier, disliking the noise and the relentless pace. He wanted to build his legacy in his homeland, Assam, and moved back permanently. Recently, he focused mostly on cultural shows, concerts, and festivals. He was scheduled to perform at the Northeast India Festival in Singapore, showcasing India's diverse cultures on a global platform. The festival was planned from September 9th onward. Tragically, on the very first day, his team had to cancel his appearance. The artist who was to perform was no more. The festival was organized by a well-known event organizer from Assam, Shyamkanu Mahanta. Zubeen had traveled to Singapore before September 9th with his manager, Siddharth Sharma. His longtime friend and drummer, Shekhar Jyoti Goswami, are mentioned across accounts, and other team members. The organizers had planned several activities for the performers to keep spirits high and help them relax and enjoy Singapore. On September 9th, Zubeen and his team went on a yacht trip to unwind from travel fatigue and enjoy the sea. The mood on board was excited yet relaxed. At a suitable and safe spot, everyone wore life jackets and jumped into the water to swim. Accounts differ on the details. Some reports say Zubeen initially wore a life jacket but removed it during the session. Others say he complained that the life jacket was oversized. Despite crew advice, he reportedly took it off. Suddenly, calm turned to panic. His friend Shekhar saw him floating motionless, face down. There was no movement in his body. When Shekhar turned him over, white froth was coming from his mouth. He was unresponsive. They tried to keep his head straight and called for help immediately. He was rushed to a hospital, but it was too late. The news spread like wildfire. The festival was canceled, and fans, especially in Assam, were in disbelief. An icon of the nation had left suddenly, without warning, without a reason people could accept. Early reports described it as a scuba diving accident. But his wife, Zubeen Garg, clarified it happened while swimming off a yacht, not during scuba diving. As this sunk in, people began looking for someone to blame. The first targets were those closest to him, his friend Shekhar and his manager Siddharth, who faced intense backlash and allegations that they were responsible. Organizers of the Northeast India Festival, including Shyam Kanu Mahanta, also came under fire because the incident occurred during their event. The first post-mortem report from Singapore listed drowning as the cause of death. Many refused to accept that. Due to public dissatisfaction, his body was brought back to Assam for another post-mortem, whose report had not yet been released at the time described in this narrative. Rumors and conspiracy theories surged. FIRs were filed against his manager, friend, and the event organizer, alleging negligence and even foul play. Assam's chief minister, Himanta Biswa Sarma, publicly supported the family and formed a 10-member special investigation team to thoroughly investigate. While protests grew across the state, the family remained silent, preparing for his last rites. Starting September 9th, a 3-day mourning period was declared in his village and beyond, a measure of how much he meant to Assam. In Arunachal Pradesh, during a festival around the 13th, people were grieving too. On September 3rd, he was cremated in Gauhati with full state honors. Tens of thousands followed the vehicle carrying his body. His body lay in state longer than planned because lakhs from across Assam and neighboring states came to pay their respects. His legacy was not over. His final film, Ro Finale, a musical love story where he played a blind artist, was scheduled for an October 31st, 2025 release. But his voice dubbing remained incomplete, leaving the project unfinished. Public anger toward the manager, friend, and organizer became so intense that they were not allowed to attend his last rites. Garima posted a video urging people to be patient and accept the situation. She initially defended Siddharth, saying Zubeen had known him for a long time and considered him family. But after that video was posted on Zubeen's Instagram, she too faced negativity and hate. There were reasons. People suspected those around him. It was known that Zubeen suffered seizures and had even been hospitalized in Gauhati after a severe episode. It's possible that when he got into the water to swim, the pressure or conditions triggered a seizure, causing him to lose control and drown. At the same time, if his closest companions and organizers had accounted for his medical condition, perhaps the outcome might have been different. The situation became even more serious when a distraught fan reportedly jumped into the Brahmaputra, taking his life over grief at Zubeen's death, and protests turned volatile. During a police raid at the manager's house, some people pelted stones at both the house and the police, prompting a lathi charge. The government realized the depth of people's devotion. Zubeen's place in Assam was nothing less than sacred. The chief minister appealed to the public to keep the peace, saying this is Zubeen's Assam, and it must not be allowed to descend into chaos. He assured everyone that justice would be done. The police intensified their investigation. Shekhar Goswami, the first person to see Zubeen in distress, was detained for questioning. A raid at manager Siddharth Sharma's residence reportedly didn't find him. He had not been seen since Zubeen's death, which raised more questions. At Shamkanu Mahanta's place, police reportedly seized documents leading to fresh money laundering and benami property allegations. The chief minister even said he never liked Mahanta's events and that they didn't represent Assamese culture, and barred him from organizing future events. The biggest twist came on September 30th, when Zubeen's wife and family, who had initially defended some of these individuals, filed an FIR against manager Siddharth, organizer Shamkanu, and others who were with Zubeen, alleging conspiracy. The complaint was filed by Garima Zubeen Garg, his sister Barnali Borthakur, and his uncle Manoj Kumar Borthakur. The FIR alleged that Zubeen was taken abroad under the pretext of an event and then harmed. A lookout notice was issued against Siddharth and Shamkanu to prevent them from leaving the country. On October 1st, new reports emerged when bandmate Shekhar Goswami allegedly told police that Zubeen's death was not due to a seizure or simple drowning, but due to poisoning, allegedly orchestrated by the manager and the organizer. Witnesses also claimed Zubeen was a strong swimmer, making drowning less likely under normal conditions. Shekhar stated that the foreign venue was deliberately chosen to make it easier to conceal details. He also said Siddharth stayed with Zubeen throughout and behaved suspiciously when Zubeen was struggling to breathe, allegedly shouting, "Jabo de, Jabo!" let go, and later dismissing the white froth as mere acid reflux, delaying medical attention. Shamkanu allegedly instructed those on the yacht to ensure no videos leaked, raising questions about what was being hidden. Based on these statements, police reportedly arrested Shamkanu, Siddharth, and some band members. The All Assam Lawyers Association refused to represent the accused. Toxicology reports on Zubeen's organs were expected by October 10th, after which the truth behind the allegations could become clearer. The Special Investigation Team is treating the case as a top priority, and if it fails, the case will be handed to the CBI. As of the time frame described in this narrative, the case remains ongoing. This is not just a case, it is a personal loss for millions. Many grew up with his songs. Musicians played his music on their guitars. He inspired countless artists and listeners. If this video or story introduced anyone to him for the first time, let it lead them to explore his songs, his films, and his legacy. A request to everyone who cares about this case: please stop spreading false allegations. It only hampers the investigation and delays justice. Let the truth come out through proper inquiry. May the process move with integrity. May the memory of Zubeen Garg continue to inspire, and may justice, whatever it reveals, be done.